Today we're going to draw a tree from a unique perspective. Notice in these photos that the viewpoint is from the ground looking up, or rather a worm's eye view. In this assignment, we're going to create a tree with leaves falling down from a worm's eye point of view. So that means that we're going to be looking at this tree like we're laying down on the ground, or that we're very small in the grass looking up at our tree. You will need some white paper, a black marker for outlining, a pencil, and whatever material you want to color in with. So either your markers, your crayons, or even if you want to paint this one, that will also be acceptable. So to start with your drawing, we want to create the trunk of our tree first, and we want to fill this page with our tree. So since we're on the ground and we're very small, the tree trunk is going to be bigger down here at the bottom of the page where it's closer to us, and it's going to get very small as it gets farther away. And so I want to leave some space up here in the top corner of my paper for the leaves of my tree. So notice that my shape that I've created here looks sort of like a triangle. We don't want it to be too straight because it's a tree, right? Our trees don't grow with super straight edges. It might be a little bit wobbly. And now up here we can create some diagonal lines coming off of my lines there from my first lines that I drew. And if I put a V line inside of here, that starts to make two tree branches that are going to be in my trees. And you can make as many of these tree branches as you want. They're just going to get smaller as they go out. So again, create diagonals out this way in sort of a Y shape. And then in the middle you can put a V to create our different tree limbs. Again, you can do that as many times as you want. I'll show it a few more times just so you can get the hang of that. So the Y off each side, and then a V in the middle. And if you want, whenever you're finished, you can kind of just close those off into a point. And let them go off the edge of the page, however you think they should look. So again, remember, this part of the tree is very far away. It's really tall up in the air, and down here this is closer to us because we're down here on the ground looking up at our tree. And so in this corner we're going to fill this with all of our leaves. So you're going to draw some sort of organic shape. It might be kind of curved to create the big group of leaves that are going to be up in the top corner of your tree. So here we have the trunk of our tree limbs, our leaves of our tree, and here is the sky. So whenever you're ready, we are going to start doing our leaves now. So what we want to create are some leaves falling from this tree down toward us. And now remember, anything that is close to us is going to be big. So down here, just like the trunk of our tree, we're going to start with a nice big leaf. I'm going to draw a nice big one, and I want it to overlap my tree trunk. So I'm going to start with a line, and you can make your leaves whatever shape you want, but I'm going to start mine off this way. I like to start with the inside of my leaf first. That helps me a little bit. And then I can draw around here just like we did in the last assignment when we cut out that leaf and we traced it. We can draw that leaf again. And so since my leaf is overlapping my tree trunk, I need to erase part of my tree trunk. I should not be able to see that. So down here near the bottom of my page I have one big leaf that is close to me that has fallen off of my tree. And so again, I'm going to do one that's a little bit higher up on the page, and this one should be medium size, so a little bit smaller than the last one. So I'm going to do the same steps again to draw my leaf, and this time I'm going to make it in a different angle. My next leaf is going to be even smaller, and it should be even higher on the page. So you can add as many leaves as you want. Just make sure any leaf that's falling off the tree up in this top space is very small. Any tree leaf that has fallen off in this middle space of your paper is medium, and any leaf that is down here is going to be very large. I'm going to add a few more leaves to my picture before we outline. Extra leaf down here that's getting cut off by the bottom of the page. So I've got two really big leaves that are really close to my face laying down in that grass, and then I've got two here that are sort of medium and two that are really small. Notice that I changed the angle of the leaf as they're falling, so it looks natural as they are falling down from the tree. If you're going to color your picture with dry materials like markers, crayons, and colored pencils, the next step is going to be to outline your tree lines and your leaf lines, all your lines, with black marker. If you'd like to use brown for this picture, you may do that as well. I like to use brown to outline. If you're going to paint your picture, I would wait and outline your lines at the very end. Go ahead and start painting if you're going to do that, and then outline at the end. When you're done outlining, let's use our markers to create some textures before we color in with our crayon or our colored pencil. On this tree, I can use line to create the texture of the bark, and I can just kind of group them together vertically like this, or I can do some curved ones to make it look like there was a knot on the tree. So we're going to create some bark texture. Remember, as you get higher up on this tree, these lines might get smaller, just like everything else. As you get higher up, we want things to be big, medium, and little. So lower down here, longer lines. In the middle, they could be medium-sized lines, and up here we want small lines for that texture of that bark. So notice that some of the lines can swirl together and curve a little bit, however you want to make that texture look on your tree. In the leaves up here, those leaves are really far away and they are grouped together. It would be really hard to draw each individual leaf that was there. So we don't have to do that today. What we can do is just create a texture that indicates or shows that there are lots of leaves up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my markers again with some warm colors to create some texture up here to show my leaves that are way up here in the canopy of the tree. I'm going to add some red ones too. Maybe throw in some thin ones for some variety, and thick lines. If you want your tree to be green, that's okay too. You can use green or whatever colors you think your tree should be, but we still are going to use our marker to create that texture. I'm just going to throw a little purple in mine just for fun to make some interest there with my texture. I'm just going to throw some purple in. And if we are, again, if we're using our markers and our crayons and not paint, then I would suggest doing these leaves that are falling all in marker so that they stand out really good. They are nice and bold. So I'm going to do a little bit of purple detail in here first for some shadow, a little extra outline. And then I'm going to color in with my marker again. If you'd like to create some more variety of color, you are welcome to also use your colored pencils to color in these leaves. Just make sure that you are using nice, solid, dark pressure to really make these leaves stand out. We can practice our blending techniques that we've been using in our past two projects. Just giving everyone options for the different materials that we may want to use to create our artwork. So I'm creating a value change inside these leaves. Maybe this one that's real little, I'll just color it in real solid so to make sure that it stands out in front of all of that texture there. Remember, I can blend colors together to create different effects. Remember, we can always get more variety of color and value with our colored pencils, but again, it's also okay if you want to use your marker. You can see the difference in how it will look. And then for your sky, remember that is this space out here. All of this is going to be blue. All of this space out here, all this empty space is your sky. You can choose to do colored pencil or crayon. Might not do marker because you might end up using up all of the ink in your marker. I have some color sticks here. I'm going to use my color stick to color in. If you don't have color sticks and you just want to use crayon, you can peel the paper off of your crayon and use sort of the side of the crayon to fill in large spaces. And again, I'm going to use crayon or color sticks or even colored pencil to fill in the area of the trees that are still white and on the trunk of the tree. Alright, notice that I have colored in the whole paper. There is not much white space left. I have colored in my leaves, showing different blending techniques and details. I've colored in all of the leaves at the top of the tree using a texture with marker, and then colored in with crayon or colored pencil to fill in that empty white space between the texture. I did the same thing on the trunk of the tree with my marker to create that texture, and then I filled in lighter brown over it so that the marker is still showing through. I can still see that texture. And I've made the crayon a little bit darker on the sides, and that will help you make your tree look a little bit round. So if you want to try and do that, you're welcome to do that. That's a little advanced technique for you there. I hope you have fun with this project. I can't wait to see how yours turns out.